I think overall, you can say that Chiefs did very well to, with the squad that they had, stay on top for so long. I think Middendorp did very well in that regard. And I think Sundowns at that stage were kind of man-managing and trying to remain as consistent, but then also rotate to a certain degree because of the number of games that they've accumulated over the last number of years. I think they did very well to keep within touching distance, going into lockdown. Obviously, nobody could foresee what was coming. I think most clubs did very well to manage what happened, which was unprecedented. I don't think people really appreciate how many players actually got infected. I hear that at Chiefs there were almost as much as 15 players, and you can imagine other clubs it was rife. So managers in general, coming out of lockdown, really only had 3 weeks with their entire squad, if they were lucky, to prepare for this, for the remaining, for Wits and Sundowns it was 11 games. For most teams it was 6. But it was under very difficult circumstances, so you never quite knew how the teams were going to come out of lockdown, in what kind of shape. And I think ultimately that was Chiefs' downfall. They weren't able to get their team to react, after lockdown, and naturally Sundowns took advantage of that. But even them, over a period of two games, 2 rounds of games, it didn't seem like any of them wanted to take advantage. So it was a very difficult situation to be in. But both in the Glad Africa and in the ABSA Premiership, I think we have to applaud all 32 teams for giving us a finale which was just out of this world. Incredibly exciting, obviously heartbreaking for Chiefs, heartbreaking for Ajax Cape Town, but I think we must all be able to applaud those teams and the NSL for being able to provide us with a final product when a lot of people were talking about cancelling. So yeah, all in all, it was a fantastic last couple of weeks to experience. If you were a football person and you understood the process of building a team, and if you understood the players that Middendorp had at his disposal, you would perhaps feel sorry for him, and you perhaps would be surprised at the fact that he did get released. But then from an emotional point of view, and this is where the fans come in, I can understand why they were so frustrated at that 13 or 14 point lead which was relinquished. And if you take into consideration that Chiefs haven't won silverware in 5 seasons, again, that just adds to it. I feel for me that despite the fact that George Maluleka signed a pre-contract with Sundowns, I feel that they should have done their best to keep him. And I know perhaps that there was a trust issue. They're going head to head with a team which has just signed a pre-contract with one of your players. But from a player's point of view, from a professional point of view, I want to see coaches and clubs have more faith and trust in those sorts of players. Because I felt that the lack of creativity, whenever Manyama had a quiet game, they lacked that creativity in behind the strikers, and that's why in the last 15 or 20 minutes of each game, when they were looking for a goal, there would only be a plan A. So I think George was a big loss. I also think people must take into account that guys like Mashiane and Ngobo could have brought a lot to the table, but lockdown kind of messed up those plans, especially for Ngobo. So all in all, it depends really which side of the table you sit on. From a footballing point of view, from an ex-player point of view, I would have liked to have seen Middendorp given the chance to build. But then I completely understand why he's been released at the same time. The question is, if he had won the league, would he have stayed in any case? Who knows? There was talks of him and Ajax Cape Town. Should they have, if they were going to get promoted, there was always rumours and links. But yeah, it's always disappointing when you see a coach released and not being able to get the chance to build on success. But I completely understand why this has happened. It's great. It's great for a local coach to have success. I feel that South African clubs over the last umpteen years, they've brought in foreign coaches who have come, who have arrived on our shores and then left us with nothing. Many of them have been frauds. And so when a local coach has success, that's really great, I feel, and I think that when clubs do look overseas, I think they've got to look a lot more thoroughly, and not just bring someone on rumor or on a suggestion. They've actually got to go out and do their homework properly. And also investigate a coach's character, just like a player. You can't just rely on his technical abilities. You've got to do your homework on his character as well. And I don't think clubs do enough homework on coaches and bringing them here. In Chiefs, just to get back to Chiefs, they have a very short period now to look for a coach before the season resumes. So I don't think they're going to experiment. I don't think they're going to go overseas. I don't think they're going to have time to look for somebody. So the three big contenders for me would be Stuart Baxter, Gavin Hunt and Benny McCarthy. But to revert back to Sundowns, what Pizzo has done, I feel that the watershed moment for me was when he came in to fix the Neerskens disaster, when they he put them in relegation position, Neerskens. Pizzo came on board and got him out of the relegation trouble, and he was then in a position of power to be able to sit down with Patrice and to say, look, I want power to bring in the players that I want. So he managed to take over the player transfer signings, the comings and goings from whoever it was previously, and he took over that power because he has a personal relationship with Patrice. So when you have a personal relationship with somebody, you're able to sit somebody down and look them in the eye and ask for something like that. And since that moment, the consistency around Sundowns has been greater. He's brought in players who he's needed, and although there seems to be a very big squad at Sundowns, the actual playing squad, the actual match day squad, and the starting 11 over the last 3 or 4 years has been very consistent, and that for me has been key to their success. just like Chiefs under Baxter, when they had that 3-season success. Very similar thing, very consistent, and consistency breeds success. And a lot of club owners must start to understand that.